Now that I have both of my mortises cut, I'm going to come over to the table saw, and if this isn't already set up for you, you need to remove this, and we are going to place the sled jig on here that's going to help us cut our slight angles on our legs. In order to remove this, you need to lift this lever up on this part. This is called the throat, and that slides out. There is a small lever right here, and then this will pull straight up, and then you can unplug it here. You can take what is called the thriving knife, and that is probably hanging up right there. And this is going to go down in here, and then the lever goes down to lock in place. What this does is add stability to this as it's going through. Okay, we'll put the throat back in, so the throat goes back there. This comes down, and now that's in. Now you also need this jig. So this is the large sled jig that you're going to use. Okay, notice there's a piece of plexiglass on it. There's these two handles and two clips. Pretty recognizable, normally sits over by the wall. Okay, this will take 2 people to put on. Okay, you do not want to break the blade. So how this works is it lifts up, and in order for you to see underneath, that guide is going to go in, and the blade is going to go in that slot. Now, when I pull this back, you can see that the blade is in that groove, and if I pull this all the way back, I can see that that will slide the whole way through. So I'd like to stand with my feet staggered a little bit, kind of like this, so that when this pulls back, it can hit my leg and stop. I do not want to pull this back too far, because then this thing will teeter-totter. So I'm going to try to keep the blade even or behind this, okay, and moving my feet in a little bit, so when I pull it back, it stops up against my leg. Okay, I'll pull the clamps up, and I'm going to take my leg, and I want to cut both sides that have the mortise on it. So what we are going to do is kind of taper this in to add a little bit of style to it. So these legs are then going to be called what they call a shaker leg. And they call it a shaker leg because when it's standing upright, the outside is perfectly straight up and down, and the inside of the leg is on an angle, so it looks like it's shaking or falling over. To do this jig, you need to take one mortise, face it straight down, the other mortise towards the blade. Okay, so I can place this in here, or there's a kind of an opening over here that I can also place this in. So I'm going to place this in. Notice one mortise is going to be down, one mortise is going to be towards the blade. I'm going to clamp this down firmly, clamp that down firmly. I'll pull this back, turn the table saw on, hold both handles, and I'm going to push through, and you'll see right here it cuts a slight taper. I'm going to pull this all the way back. Make sure the blade is behind this. Pull this up. You can turn the table saw off if it makes you feel more comfortable. If you're okay with it, you can leave it on. Just make sure the blade is behind that. Unclamp, unclamp, and now we are going to rotate right. Now the reason why we are rotating right is because that mortise is on this side, and that is the other slant that we want the table saw to cut. So I want to make sure that this is all the way back. I'm going to keep this little piece in here so that when I tighten this back down, the clamp has something to grab onto. Clamp that down, hold this down, and repeat. Okay. Now this leg is completely finished. So all of these small scrap pieces make a pile to the side, and then when you're all finished, all of those can be thrown out. But now we have a taper on this mortise side and a taper on this mortise side. As you can kind of see, those slant in while this is straight. Okay? Complete this task for all 4 of your legs.